All right, so we will see these two provisions. And so we have discussed the primary rules of interpretation. Right now, when we talk about interpretation as such, it's important to understand meaning of a certain given provision. Interpretation is very much needed, and for that we have different types of rules that apply. Okay, when we talk about primary rules of interpretation, these are some rules which tells us the way how we would interpret. Is it that we are going to go with the ordinary meaning of a certain word? Is it that we would try to understand some meaning out of the entire legislation? What is the provision, like how we would do it? So we discussed about literal, golden, mischief, and harmonious construction rule in primary rules of interpretation. Same ways, there are certain secondary rules, or rather some maxims that are being followed, some how we can derive a meaning out of a certain legislation, and even these secondary rules are also used in deriving meaning from a certain given provision, given concept, or any section, or any other thing. Okay, so there are these three secondary rules of interpretation. So apart from the primary rules, these are also important in understanding meaning from a certain given word. Okay, now what are these three different rules of interpretation and what does they mean? Okay, so first of all, we have nocitur resources, which means meaning of unclear words or phrases are determined on the basis of its context and the words and phrases surrounding it. Now, another one we have is agestum generis. Now, what does this mean? It means the word should be given their natural meaning unless it requires special meaning based on the context. Next one we have is Redindo singula singulis. It is again a Latin term which means referring each phrase or expression to its corresponding object. Now what happens is, when a list of words has a modifying face at the end, the face refers only to the last. Mostly what we do is, in one sentence itself, right, we may use 2-3 different words, 2-3 different objects. Okay, now we cannot say that, okay, all these words are referring to each of the objects. No, how we would interpret it is each to each, whatever relates to the object, whatever word relates to the object, that we would take second word, second object, like that we need to take. Okay, in one sentence, even if many words are coming, we would not say that, okay, everything is related to the other. For example, if anyone shall draw or load any sword or gun, the word draw is applied to sword only, and the word load applies to gun only, because you can only load a gun, right? You cannot load a sword. So in that context only we should be using it. If we are taking the example that maybe businessmen, teachers, and doctors should be concerned with their business and professions. In that case, we are saying that businessman is doing business, teachers and doctors are carrying forward their profession, like that. Okay, even if we are using multiple things and then here multiple things, we should use each with each. Whatever is related to this, that only we would use. Okay, businessman is doing business, doctors and teachers are doing their profession. Okay, like that we would use. It would happen in many such cases that in one statement we are getting multiple things, like that we would not club everything together, but each has to refer to that each only. Whatever is related in that context only we would understand. Is it clear or is it confusing? It is a little confusing. Okay, fine. Take the example that you are having, might be a cycle, okay, a bicycle. You are having a car. Okay, and one person says that, okay, tomorrow we are going out and we would need the bicycle also, we would need the car also. So because we are going very far, make sure that it is having the pressure. What do you call it? Cycle, that pressure, right?
Yes, ma'am, tire pressure.
Tire pressure. Okay, fine. So a person is saying that tomorrow we are going out and we are going very far. So we would need the cycle also, we would need the car also. Make sure that tire pressure as well as petrol is enough. Now, in that case, even though I'm using the words tire pressure and petrol, obviously petrol is not applicable for cycle. Okay, and pressure would be applicable even for car also. They would check, right, that thing while filling petrol. That means when we talk about cycle, you would not go and pour petrol there because it's not relating to it. Okay, so whatever is related to what, that ways only we would understand. Even though in one sentence itself I have said check the tire pressure also and petrol also, you would not fill petrol in a cycle, or you would not just pour it in the cycle, because that does not make sense. Okay, same ways, even though in one sentence I'm using multiple things, you would understand it in reference to wherever it is applicable only. Okay, so you can load a gun, you cannot load a sword. So that ways only you would understand. Is it clear or still confusing?
Ma'am, it's clear now.
It's clear, right? So these are the secondary rules which are applied. That in what context? Mainly it's about the context, how a certain word or a certain provision is being used, that we need to consider. Okay, so these would be used in order to understand meaning of a certain word. Hey, before we continue, I wanted to inform you about my live mentorship program for LL.B students or law aspirants. Law subjects and law topics need detailed clarity. We get that with the help of cases, examples, and detailed explanation. It's definitely not possible to include everything in these short videos. If you find my videos easy to understand and you are looking for some professional help in preparing for your examination, you can join my live mentorship program. Here you will be getting exam tips, answer writing skills, detailed notes that you can refer for your examination, cases, examples, and in a very easy way topics will be explained. I have live classes going on for a lot of subjects as of now. To know more about it, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. I'm also helping a lot of students in writing their assignments. If you need any such help or for any queries, any suggestions, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. And now let's continue with our video.